Welcome to Think Out Free Your Imagination. This podcast is about the imagination of me, Jennifer Purcell, and other neurodivergents and neurotypicals, and how our imagination is still vivid because we are neurodivergent, and about my imagination I used to have when I was little and bringing it to life and sharing it with you. I hope that you enjoy this first episode and that you will be inspired to email me if you want to be interviewed about your imagination that you had when you were little. I will put my email in the podcast description for you. Well, hello there. I am Marissa Marcia, but my friends and family like to call me M Cubed. Growing up, I collected stuffed animals, and at one point I had 401. People by people, I mean friends and family, kept giving them to me once they knew I liked them. My family and I would go to at least one new country a year. That's why my parents homeschooled me and my brother up to 12th grade. Or at least that's what I thought when I was little. I've been to 25 countries. Wherever, whenever, and everywhere we went, I always wanted to bring at least one stuffed animal with me, especially CK, that is Christmas koala. I also wished I could bring my whole house with me because I always missed my bed, shower, and own bathroom. I would imagine that I could fold it up into pocket size. Hey, why not stop with just your house? You could bring your friend's house with you too. I didn't mind sharing a room and bathroom with my older brother Jonathan, but sometimes I wanted my own space. Eventually, when I got old enough, I got my own room. I know how to lucid dream, so I can control both my daydreams and dreams at night. I usually pretend that I have my own place where my stuffed animals would fight wars with the dark side to protect me. We were the light side, and yes, there is a middle side as well. Each side has its own ruler, leader, or chosen one. The ruler was usually what the dark side called it. The leader was the middle, and chosen one was the light side. Each side also had its land, but it was more in the imagination than a little in the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Each side finally had its own special set of superpowers. The dark side set of powers is basically like the one in Star Wars. Same for the light side. The middle side is in between the two. I also like to add my hobbies like flying. Sorry, I like to add my own, like flying, levitating, controlling the weather, nature, transforming into anything at any time, manipulating the five senses, seeing and controlling the future, reading and controlling minds, earning and manipulating memories, lucid dreams, and musical instruments. Chapter 2. Changing sides. Usually the dark and light side members would stay dark or light unless something really bad, creepy, or terrible happened. Then they would switch to middle or light. But that rarely happened. It was way more commonplace with the middle side than in the other two. You could go back to the side you were on once you changed, but that's easier said than done. Once you change sides, the leader, ruler, or chosen one will steal and erase your memories from the previous side that you were a member of. They do this so that you don't remember why you switched, expecting that something terrible happened that you didn't like, so that you have less of a tendency to go back to your original side. They also teach you their set of powers, and you have the choice if you want to keep your old set as well, or if you want that erased too. More than often, people will choose to lose their old set of powers. They don't want to have anything to do with their past. They would rather have a fresh start and a new chance to have a better life. Once their transformation and training are completed, they are officially a member of the new side and no longer a part of the other one. They can always change their mind at any point along the transformation and training process, but seldom do they. As I stated previously, they don't want anything to do with their past. They want to have a chance at a new and better life with a different side and set of superpowers. They also want new friends, family, which is what my next two chapters will be about. This will go over solidifying completely the membership to a new side, relationships, also a house that they can call home, where they will live with their new friends and family helps too. They have it all without much effort, meaning that friends and family help them be solidified in their new side, whether that's light or dark or middle. Chapter 3, Friends. Everyone enjoys the time, experiences, and making memories with their friends more than their family because they get too close to them. You can't choose your family. Unfortunately, you're stuck with them. On the bright side, you can spend as much time as you want with your friends, as long as it's okay with them. If your friends don't get tired of being around you, chances are they'll love being able to be with you as much as possible. You know they've they are your friends if they do more of what you like to do than what they do. Oftentimes your friends will also like it if you do what they like, but you don't always have to. They love it when you can show off your superpowers because everyone has their specialties. They love showing off theirs too, since they can show you what they're talented at, and vice versa. They like giving you a fair chance when it comes to being special. Your friends can finally give you pointers about how to get better at using your superpowers that are not your specialties. This helps because then you can make your weaknesses your strengths. You can also return the favor by doing the same. They'll like being friends with you if you do so. Another thing your friends can help with is to learn how to deal with your family members, especially the ones you wish you weren't related to, but unfortunately are for some unknown reason. Stay tuned for this. Chapter 4, and the last one we'll cover in this episode. So family members are the ones you don't get to choose, unfortunately. And sometimes you are lucky that you are fortunate that they're in your lives. Since they're related, you don't have that much of a choice. Like I said, you're stuck with them. Unless they live far away from you, it's challenging enough that you have to have them in your family. Now you have to see them every weekend, or worse, every day if you're parents and siblings. At least you can have pets in your family and you can choose them. You can also train them to bite the family members you hate if you wanted. This helps because eventually they'll leave you alone once they are afraid of the pet or realize why they're doing it. Your pets help protect you from the family members you dislike. They do this because they love you and you train them to do it. This works well if you train them with treats or their favorite toy. Eventually you can wean them off the treats by just using praise combined with their favorite toy. If they do well, you can occasionally reward them with one, but not always. Otherwise, they'll get back into the same old habit, which just makes it harder to wean off the treats in general. Excuse me. You can also use a clicker compared with the treats, and eventually one only use the clicker. This helps them associate the click with the demand or command. Your family does protect, feed, clean, provide, clothe, and defend you whenever necessary. They do this not because they want to, but because they love you. And one more chapter. The house that you grew up in was with your parents that had magical powers. Or sometimes it could be one parent had powers and the other didn't. The third option would be that neither of them had powers, but one of the kids did. Sorry, when their grandparents did, and and that's how you got yours. It, it just decided to skip a generation and went to you instead of your parents. Kind of like in Harry Potter with the Muggles. The first option is better than you can have two parents to teach you some skills. In the second case, only one can teach. And in the third, neither can teach, so you will have to learn from someone else from families such as a grandparent, aunt, uncle, or cousin. But that's okay, at least they're still in your family and not a total stranger. Am I right? You wouldn't want a stranger teaching you because they could trick you, or try to. They would do this by teaching you the ways of the light, middle, or dark side without you knowing. This would not be good because then you could be learning the powers of the wrong side that your family is associated with. Dun, 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 dun. This would be terrible because you could potentially need to switch sides. This could have been avoided if you had been taught the right powers or by someone else in your family who wouldn't have tricked you. This could be very detrimental because you may have to change sides multiple times when, if you were taught by the correct person or for the correct side, this would have been avoided. Like I said earlier in chapter 2, it is not easy to keep changing sides. It's difficult to keep changing sides because each time you change, you have two choices to make. One, if you want to keep your memories and powers from the old side or the old life you had. Do you lose all those memories and powers that are from that side and life you had previously? Also, when you change sides too much, you have to release powers, rules, customs, and traditions that belong to that side. This can be very tiring because each side is different. The light and dark side are the two extremes, and the middle is in between the two. It would be great if there was just one side, but there isn't and never will be. If there was only one side, then there would be fighting for those for whose powers, rules, customs, and traditions were the best. I have a feeling that the fight would be endless. It would be endless because no one would be able to decide who was right. I hope that this week's episode of Think Out for Your Imagination brought new ideas to your mind and reminded you of when you were little and would imagine and pretend and play with your friends or yourself and create games in your mind and just be a kid and have fun and what it's like to dream it and do that and be able to be a little kid again and believe in things like fairy tales and mermaids and wonderful creatures. I will talk to you next Thursday.